Welcome, James Fazzino, to Big Ideas in Business. Thank you for speaking to our students today. Your expertise is on energy security, and we're delighted you can talk to us. Perhaps we could start if you tell us a bit about your history in industry and your role at Manufacturing Australia.
I used to run a company called Insitech Pivot. Insitech Pivot is around about an $8 billion business in terms of its enterprise value. It's the world's largest explosives company. It's Australia's largest fertiliser manufacturer and distributor. It operates in about 13 countries, employs around about 5,000 people. I left that role in November last year, and now I'm chairman of Manufacturing Australia. Manufacturing Australia is a coalition of Australia's 11 largest manufacturers. We employ around about 250,000 people in and outside the fence, and we operate in very diversified industry, all the way from manufacturing steel. BlueScope Steel is one of our members, through to building products. So we have members like CSR, Aluminium's one of our members, through to even cement manufacturing.
Could you tell us what you believe energy security is and why it's important to Australian manufacturers?
Energy security is around ensuring that when you flick the light switch, the lights actually do go on. The reason why that's so important to manufacturers is, if you look at Australia's competitive advantage historically, it was energy supply. And so if you look at Australian manufacturing, it's all based on large consumers of energy. And what's unique about the plants in our group is that they run 24/7 and they run 365 days a year. So what's vital is constant energy supply through the day. And if you took one of our large members, going back to BlueScope Steel, if they lose energy supply for around about 5 minutes, they'll set their furnaces solid, and that'll result in around about a $500 million bill to restart it. So having that constant, reliable supply of energy is vital.
Who do you believe the stakeholders are in achieving energy security?
Well, obviously it's the consumers, large industry, and also mums and dads, and us at home. It's the energy suppliers who supply those consumers. It's government, of course, and it's also the community that benefits from the jobs that are created on the back of energy security. And importantly, it's the environment, which is an important stakeholder.
Great, thank you. In the media, you speak a bit about this trilemma of energy security. Could you tell us a bit more about it?
Well, the trilemma starts with our Paris commitments, and that is to reduce Australia's emissions of greenhouse gases. And of course that's real, you just need to go outside to see that climate change is real. So that's one element of the trilemma. The next element is to ensure the energy that's supplied is reliable. And the final element of the trilemma is efficiency, which ensures that we have energy supplied at a price that allows us to be internationally competitive. And we need to solve the whole three for us to have a sustainable outcome.
Thanks for that clarification, James. Now, thinking about it on an international scale, what are some of the challenges Australia faces globally?
The challenge Australia faces is we're no longer competitive. So if you've got Australia, we've got some of the highest energy prices in the world. In order to construct a plant in Australia, it'll cost you around about 1.5 times what it would cost you to construct exactly the same plant in the US. With an economy with high regulation, which means what can be approved in the United States in 6 months takes 3.5 years in Australia. And on top of that, you've got a relatively small market. And so what that actually means is it's hard doing business in Australia. Now, the balance, of course, is we're sitting on the doorstep of Asia. We have a huge amount of natural resources. So the trick is ensuring that we structure the economy so we can have our cake and eat it too. And that is to have the underpinnings that allow us to employ Australians and create value, to ensure that we can look after the environment and create wealth that way.
So just finally, what is your view on the National Energy Guarantee?
Yeah, we're positive on the National Energy Guarantee because it's the first that said, yes, we need to have energy supplied on a carbon efficient basis, but we also want to ensure that energy is supplied 24/7. So we think it's positive because it joins the two together. The possible negatives is in implementation. And what the danger is, what it does, is it locks in and strengthens the position of the gentailers. In other words, the retailers that also have generation. And it potentially does that at the detriment of the smaller players. And of course, if we're going to be having an efficient industry, one where we can chase prices down the cost curve, it's vital we still keep those smaller players in the market. So that's a matter of the way it's implemented, not a function of whether it's a good or bad idea.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time today, James. We really appreciate it, and I'm sure the students have learned a lot from listening to you today.
It's my pleasure.